Let's introduce you to Sarah James, who is a council employee, has had her pay frozen for the last 7 years. Also with us, Tony Babb, who runs his own recruitment company and is concerned about the potential end of austerity. Also with us, Thorrun Govind, who's a community pharmacist. She says she is happy to pay more in tax. And a great Yarmouth is Matt Smith, a former UKIP councillor who runs his own small business and would like more or continuing austerity. Welcome all of you. Just a quick answer from all of you. First of all, Sarah, is it time for the 1% pay cap on council employees, nurses, teachers, soldiers, firefighters and the police to end?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Matt?
Of course pay cap shouldn't end.
And Thorrun?
Absolutely.
Okay, Sarah, you've had this pay freeze for the last 7 years. Why is it time now for it to stop?
7 years we've had. Since 2010 there was a 0%, so it was a pay cap, pay freeze of 0%. 2012, 1%. It's less than inflation, 2.5% on average per year. So we're actually having a pay cut. It's getting to the point now, it's not right when our nurses, our public sector staff are having to rely on food parcels. And like the lady who's tweeted in has said, when you're getting MPs getting their own pay rises, you're getting the Queen getting a pay rise, the public sector workers are the backbone of the society. You've got Theresa May standing on the door of number 10 saying, we value the service, especially in the last few weeks, we value the services, they do a great job. Well, that doesn't put food in people's stomachs, that doesn't put clothes on people's backs. It's about time now we get a decent pay for a decent job.
Matt Smith, you very clearly said no, it is not time to end the pay freeze. Talk to Sarah James as a council employee and tell her why it's not the right time.
I think the problem is what you're looking at is that if you do spend more than you earn, eventually you will go broke. So we haven't seen austerity in this country. All we've seen is a minor reduction of the deficit. The debt's not going down. There's so many other more important things that we need to pay for.
Like
the
what?
Institute of Fiscal Studies firstly said that public sector workers earn more than their counterparts in the private sector. We've got executives on more pay than the Prime Minister. Locally in Norfolk recently, we had an executive get a £250,000 payoff. That's where we should be cutting. I don't think public sectors need a rise because I certainly don't think people in the private sector are seeing it. Certainly not where I live in Great Yarmouth, where the minimum wage is now the maximum wage.
Right, well, like Matt, Tony, you run your own private company. You say the public sector pay freeze should be relaxed. Why?
Look, I think it's a very difficult sort of situation we find ourselves in, and you're not wishing to massively sit on the fence. There has to be something. Enough's enough. I think we've seen that from the general election, that the people in the public sector are under pinches. I absolutely agree that there's inefficiencies within the public sector and a redistribution, but just to say that the easiest thing is to freeze the lowest paid workers' increases is simplistic and unfair. That said, I need an answer as to where it comes from because I don't want us to plunge back into economic dark ages.
Right, so you don't want more borrowing to fund this, which the Institute of Fiscal Studies say, if it was relaxed, would cost over £4 billion extra per year by 2019.
Yeah.
That means raising taxes.
Well, I see no other real way of doing it. Of course, look, is that a great idea itself as well? Do we want to see big businesses or small businesses crushed from that or leaving the country? Do we want to see, with Brexit on everyone's mind as well, high earners, business owners leaving the country because it's economically not viable for them to stay? That has a knock-on effect as well.
Thorrun, do come in here. Good morning to you. You said absolutely emphatically you would like to see the pay cap relaxed. Tell us about your relationship with the Conservative Party and how it's changed because of austerity, you say.
Yes, I mean, I was a Conservative voter, but unfortunately I feel as a community pharmacist that the Conservatives weren't looking after the public. We've had the nurse who spoke to Theresa May during the campaign, and Theresa May said there's no magic money tree. Well, the Conservative logo is a money tree, and it's gone straight to the DUP. And I'm absolutely appalled at how there's been cuts in the funding to community pharmacy and the NHS, and it's all trickling down to affect the workers.
Okay, let me pause you there, Thorrun, because as you said, the Conservative logo is a magic money tree and it's all gone to the DUP. Matt, in Matt Smith in Great Yarmouth raised his eyebrows and shook his head in disagreement. Do talk to Thorrun, Matt, about that.
I think you're sort of suspended disbelief at the moment. We haven't reduced the debt. We still haven't worked out what we're going to do in the future.
No, but Thorrun's point was that if £1 billion can be found, presumably from raising taxes to go to Northern Ireland, why can money not be found, whether it's from raising taxes or borrowing?
That's absolutely fair. The truth is we don't have the money for either of those things. But I mean, we can't just keep spending money willy-nilly. Eventually it's going to run out. We are increasing debt. We remember back in 2010, the Treasury to the Secretary to the Treasury said we had run out of money. It's been 7 years since then. We still don't have any money. We still haven't paid off the debt. What's going to happen? Any politician's going to come forward and say, hold on, we actually need to take some serious action here. We haven't seen this.
Let's just point something out to you here. For £1 spent in community pharmacy, we save the NHS between £21 to £56. Sometimes you have to spend a little bit of money to save a lot of money.
That's just in one instance. I mean, I can't say I know your job inside out. I really don't. But there's so much spend going on in the government, and we don't know where it's going.
Well, it's being spent on expenses. There's so much being spent on MPs' expenses, on MP pay rises, not to the people who are helping make a difference in this country. The firefighters have run into the Grenfell fire. You know, we need to respect these people and make sure they are looked after.
600 odd MPs getting a pay rise is in no way equivalent to the amount of money it would cost to give a pay rise to every single firefighter, nurse, health worker, anything, you name it. What about people that don't work in the public sector, work in the private sector, that might work in boots, they might work in a shop somewhere else? They're not seeing their wages go up particularly because inflation is going up so much.
I just think fundamentally we need to think about the people who are looking after the vulnerable in this country. Nurses shouldn't be going to food banks. Nurses shouldn't be walking into a pharmacy. Nurses shouldn't be walking into a pharmacy.
Okay.
Let me ask. Sipping champagne in New York. That's not the sort of woman that needs to go and use a food bank.
Let me bring Sarah back in. Let me bring Sarah James back in as a council employee. We do have to ask the question, where does the money come from? Now, there's all sorts of choices the government could make. Could be raising taxes, income tax or national insurance. Could be raising VAT, although Theresa May before the election promised that she wouldn't raise VAT, but I don't know where they stand now. They've got this deal with the DUP. It could be reducing the foreign aid budget. It could be not spending money on HS2. There's all sorts of things that could be. It could be borrowing. Where would you like the £4 billion by 2019 to come from to fund a pay rise for public sector workers?
I think it all needs to be costed. Like you say, there are luxuries that, for me, it's frivolous spending. HS2, we don't need it.
Well,
Definitely
if you lived in Manchester, Liverpool, Sheffield, Leeds, you might say, actually, we really do need it, and that is an economic driver for creating jobs in the north of England.
I mean, everything's got its good and bad points, so obviously it does have to be costed, and that's obviously why we elect our MPs to sit in Parliament to make those decisions on our behalf. For me, as a public sector worker, I work with people who are coming in asking for help with their rental and their council tax costs. So I totally agree with what disagree with what Matt said there about people not relying on food banks and not relying on local welfare provision. I see it on a day in, day out basis.
I didn't say generally ordinary people. The nurse did not need that.
Okay.
But in terms of that, like I say, I see it on a day in, day out basis. I'm really passionate that we do need a pay rise. It's good for the economy because more money in, obviously spending more money, it will lower the benefit bill because people won't have to rely on benefits to have their housing costs paid for, their council tax costs paid for. I mean, and that's why I'm so passionate, as I say, about getting these pay rise in place.
Tony, Sarah was saying public sector workers are the backbone of this country. Actually, so are small businesses. You run one, Matt runs one. You touched earlier on the notion that if taxes were raised, actually that could be act as a brake on economic growth, could it not?
Yeah,
Is that a worry for you?
Absolutely.
Particularly as with the Brexit negotiations.
Yeah, we've never had a more divisive time, have we, than recently, in terms of every decision has got a yin and a yang to it. And what has happened over the last 7 years is a strengthening in the British economy. And we've moved forward in terms of jobs and unemployment. We've moved forward in terms of growth generally over that sort of period. And I think to jeopardise that is a very dangerous affair. Businesses do feel the pinch in this sort of thing. We've got to be really careful to continue to stimulate growth.
Okay, a couple of more emails from people watching you talk about this around the country. Antonia, I'm a nurse working in the NHS for the past 13 years. I'm totally disillusioned with the government. I foolishly voted for Mrs May in June. I could kick myself. I struggle every month as my salary shrinks year on year. The 1% makes a few pence per hour difference to my salary, which is then eaten up with more national insurance tax and my pension. I've now signed up at a nursing agency to top up my wages, paying an extra £10 per hour more than I receive with the NHS. Paul on email, I believe a good way to put money into the health service would be to charge 10 quid for a doctor's visit. When you think about it, I have to pay when I visit the dentist or optician. Would it be fair then to visit the doctor and pay? Thank you for those. Thank you very much, all of you. Thanks for coming on the programme. Appreciate your time. Your views, welcome, particularly if you work in the public sector or not. I don't mind. What do you think about whether, as Norman was saying, there are moves potentially within government to perhaps relax it when it comes to the autumn budget statement, I beg your pardon, later this year?